on top of plans that will see the number of dental training places increase by 40%, Mr. Speaker. But I would actually just point out, our plans mean that there will be 2.5 million more NHS appointments.
2.5 million more NHS dentist appointments. It's a key pledge of the Prime Minister's NHS Dentistry recovery plan, a pledge which completely unravelled today after the Dentistry Minister, Andrea Leadsom, was asked to explain exactly how the government had arrived at its figure.
That was NHSE modelling that took into account the views of dentists and the usage of contracts and various other factors that came up with an assessment of what could be 2.5 million appointments or 1.5 million courses of treatment. So it's a complicated set of factors, but at the same time it has quite a high likelihood of not being reliable.
So it appears the government's key pledge to deliver 2.5 million more NHS dentist appointments
has quite a high likelihood of not being reliable.
The staggering admission was made during an appearance before the Health Select Committee about the collapse in access to NHS dentists. The government's key pledge that its NHS dentistry recovery plan would result in 2.5 million extra appointments has been repeatedly made by members of the government.
We're going to be creating some 2.5 million more appointments as a result of this plan.
As committee member Paul Blomfield, the Labour MP for Sheffield Central, pointed out, the 2.5 million appointments
was the headline that accompanied the recovery plan, and what you're now saying is it's not really very reliable.
To which Ms Leadsom responded,
I'm merely making the point that, as we all as politicians know, is that forecasting is not an exact science. So that doesn't undermine the fact that the modelling comes out with a number of 2.5 million. I am merely being cautious in saying that it could be more, it could be less, as is the case with all forecasting.
I'll leave the final wearisome word on this with Mr Blomfield.
Well, it's very helpful to be cautious with us. Do you not think it would have been helpful to be cautious with the public when you announced the recovery plan?